I'm David Thompson, and I'm 20 years old, and I'm living my baseball dream.
Growing up, I played at West Pines Park down in Pembroke Pines, Florida. I played for the West Pines Cobras growing up, which was, those are the glory days, growing up down there. And I got lucky enough to play for two powerhouse teams in Flanagan and Archbishop McCarthy. And I was part of two national championship and one state championship team. So that was, those were awesome. Those moments of being a champion for that brief period of time. They always say that you get to be a champion for one day, and then the next day the off season starts. But those moments will always stay in my mind, and it was awesome.
When I was 13 years old, I remember showing up early to batting practice, and I was just hitting with my dad, who was the coach at the time, and my back just started hurting really bad, and I just remember I really couldn't practice, I couldn't do much, and I tried to fight through it, but the worse I fought through, the more pain it became, and I eventually found out that I had a spinal fracture, and it took about a month off, a couple months off, and within a month of coming back, the same pain returned. Went and found out that I had a second spinal fracture in a very similar spot. So in order to be extra careful, they told me to take 3 to 6 months off. And I did that, plus all the rehab. And after 6 months, now I'm about 14 years old. I'm in high school. I'm a freshman in high school, and I had my third one. And it was at the third one that they sort of started mentioning things, sort of that I shouldn't play baseball anymore, and that if I did hurt it any more times, I could seriously injure myself, and I really did think that my dream was over. I ended up also having, after that, I came back and I wore a back brace, and I ended up getting a really bad bone bruise in my elbow just from throwing, and it was so severe that they told me that I would actually break off a piece of my elbow if I threw much more. So I had to take off another year. So now it's been about 3 or 4 years, and I'm severely injured, and nobody knows what's going on. All I'm doing is playing baseball like a normal kid. And found out that I had a lot of deficiencies, with things that they were finding when they were doing all the blood tests and all these things, and that I also had a common variable immune deficiency. And I was a kid, so the actual specifics I left up to my mom. I just tried to focus on getting back on the field, but things weren't right, and I was in a lot of pain in a lot of different areas, and I was sick all the time. And I didn't really understand it at the time, but I was lucky enough that the Make-A-Wish Foundation allowed me to make a wish, and it ended up being one of the best things that ever happened in my life, and I got to gain a lot of confidence and get a lot better through it, through working with Tom House, so it was awesome. I remember I was in a doctor's office with a guy named Dr. Kleiner, and he told me I was eligible to make a wish, so you always get the thought of, does that mean I'm dying? You're in a doctor's office, they're telling you you're a Make-A-Wish kid, and he told me, he elaborated more that it was, they do life-threatening illnesses with people that are going through very serious things, and they do live with pain the way I was. And all I could think about was baseball. How do I, in any way, turn this into something that could be beneficial to me, just as a player, in my career, and in any fashion? And my dream was always play college baseball. Beyond that, you never know what's going to happen, but I always wanted to go to the next level and play for a school, in college. And so the best baseball mind I could think of at the time when it comes to pitching was Tom House. He's been a legend. He's coached all the greatest ones. He was always so smart. So I got in touch with Make-A-Wish. They got in touch with me, and I wished to do a pitching lesson and analysis with Tom House. And they called me, told me that he was ecstatic and he had never done that before, and he would love to do that along with the biomechanical analysis. And I hopped on the plane and headed out there. When I got out there, I remember showing up, and with a wish, they don't really tell you anything that's going on. They just tell you, you're gonna fly on the plane. They tell you sort of like your stop. So you're gonna get on the plane here, a guy's gonna meet up with you, you're gonna get a guide, and then the next day we'll pick you up in a limo, which is awesome, and take you out to the field, get your wish done. And when you show up, there were cameras. I just remember TV cameras all in my face, and reporters asking me questions, and it was awesome. I felt like a movie star a little bit. Felt like an actual baseball player, like a major league guy. So then I get out there, and Tom House, you never know what to expect from coaches, especially new coaches, and something like this. He's taking time out of his day. And he was the nicest guy you've ever met in your life. He was so cool too. He's witty. He's got all these awesome stories. He played in the major leagues. He was a coach for all these years. He was just such an interesting, awesome person. And I remember throwing with him and working with him, and just feel, I could just feel how good of a coach he was and how positive he was. And he really just was very positive on my career. He seemed almost confused by it. He thought, he didn't know whether I was going to be good. I guess they didn't give him a lot, and he seemed almost in awe that I was capable of playing baseball at a high level and doing well. So I just remember that was awesome, and he really worked with me, and I got a lot better. And through him, my level of confidence just went through the roof, and he set me on a path to achieving my dream, which was being a hard-throwing power pitcher in college. So it's the best thing that ever happened to me, I think. Now I'm actually I'm pitching at Anderson University, which is a school in upstate South Carolina, and having a lot of fun playing for the Trojans. And the highlight of my career was, I worked my way into a starting role on the weekend, which is conference games, and that's what every pitcher wants when you go to college, is to pitch on the weekend. And I got the chance to work with a man who works out of Mandeville, Louisiana, which is close to New Orleans, and his name was Brent Porcio. And he helped me get to 92 miles an hour, which was one of the highlights of my baseball career. But I would have to say that my major highlight was my sophomore year. After working with all that, I was finally, I'd just gotten off a back brace for about a year. On a scout day, they come out and there's about 15 scouts with guns on me, and I hit 90 miles an hour in front of about 50 Major League scouts. And I think that was probably my crowning achievement in my baseball career, because I got to do that in front of Major League people, and that was really cool. I was really proud of myself, and I felt like all the hard work finally culminated into something. So it was awesome. It's my senior year, so I'll be graduating in May 2016, and I'm hoping to continue my studies and go to law school starting in the fall of 2016. And I've always wanted to be a lawyer. I've always been fascinated by that. It's always been a subject I've been interested in, and that's sort of my life goal right now. Is I'm really focused on my studies and things like that. So thanks to the MakeAWish Foundation, I have the confidence in every aspect of my life, not just on the baseball field, that I can achieve anything that I want to.